When you carry a lab report next time and you see ALT above the normal range, what should you suspect? You should suspect a liver problem. That it could be hepatitis. When you go to the lab and you get lab reports and you see elevated levels of AST, what should come to your mind? You should suspect a liver disease, you should suspect a heart disease, or you should suspect a muscle disease. You can actually carry out the liver function test with your NLS device. Everything that is investigated in the lab, when you run a liver function test, you can find those information accurately with your NLS device. There are about 8 parameters that they investigate when it comes to liver function test, which includes ALT test, AST, ALP, GGT, bilirubin, albumin, total protein, prothrombin. Prothrombin is talking about checking the blood clotting capacity of your blood. You can find those information accurately with your NLS device. Most NLS device users are only scratching a surface of what their device can do. Your NLS device is far more powerful than you think. In fact, most users barely use 20% of it. The challenge is not device problem, the challenge is knowledge problem. So you find yourself spending a lot to purchase the device, but yet too stingy to spend a lot to acquire the required knowledge needed to maximize the potential of your device. So that's why I've come to challenge you today. How much of your device can you operate? I find several users, they have the device and they stop at level 1, they stop at visual analysis level. So they run a full body scan and all they do is to check for level 5, level 6 in the organs. They say, oh, this organ is stressed. That's why I'm seeing a black square. That's why I'm seeing level 5. That's why I'm seeing level 6 in the kidney, level 5 in the heart, and so on. Let's go and run metatherapy. And you run the metatherapy and you say, oh, the problem is gone. And in a short while, the problem is back. Do you know what the problem is? Do you know the name of the disease? Do you know how bad it is? Have you checked the biochemical parameters? Have you checked the neighboring organs? Have you checked the root cause? There are so many things to investigate. That's why it's called a non-linear system analyzer. It's meant for you to carry out research, left, right, center, so that you will know the right approach you will need when it comes to treatment. That's why I've come to challenge you today. I dare you to be curious, invest in learning more about the NLS device. That's why I'm here for you. I have courses that will train you on your BIOPHILIA tracker device. In fact, the BIOPHILIA tracker device is an amazing device. Over 5,000 items that you can research. You see, the knowledge is the problem. There are so many things you can do with your device that you don't even know. All right, so that's why you stick to, let me just manage it. It's not the same thing they are doing. No, the more you see the investigations you can carry out, the more features, the more functions the device can do. So when you purchase the device, then that's one step. You need the knowledge, you need the training. Come to me and I'm going to train you on how to maximize the best out of your device. I have courses on BIOPHILIA tracker, I have courses on NLS and METAHUNTER that will break down the functions, the features, the different kind of tests that you can run with this device. And the package is a lifetime coaching. Once you watch my videos, you have questions, you can reach out to me and I will answer. A liver function test is usually carried out to assess how well the liver is working, to assess, to find out if there are inflammations in the liver, to find out if there are blockages of the bile flow, to find out if there are problems with protein production, to find out if there are injuries in the liver. In fact, another word to replace the word liver function test is actually liver injury test. Because what really happens is when there are injuries found in the liver cells, then these enzymes, all those components I mentioned, those 8 components, they are all enzymes. When there is an injury in the liver, then these enzymes leak out into the bloodstreams, and that is how these enzyme levels get elevated. The ALT levels get elevated, the AST levels get elevated, and when they are elevated, it is pointing to a particular problem. ALT stands for alanine transaminase and is predominantly found in the liver cells, what we call the hepatocytes. So when there is an injury to the hepatocytes, that's the liver cells, then this enzyme called ALT will leak out into the bloodstream, and you will now have elevated levels of ALT in the bloodstream. And so when you run a blood test, then it speaks that there are elevated levels of ALT in the bloodstream. And your NLS device, you can also pick elevated levels of ALT. You just need to find out where to discover this information. That's why you need my training. If you go through my training, you will know where to find ALT in your NLS device. Then you will also learn how to interpret the results. When you see the reading, or is it high, is it low, is it normal? That is why you need my training that will show you all this, and you will be so excited, you'll be so amazed with what you can do with your BIOPHILIA tracker, with your METAHUNTER, with your NLS devices. All right. Now, when you see elevated levels of ALT, it is indicating an injury, and this injury is probably caused by any of the following disease condition. It could be hepatitis. You know, we have hepatitis A, hepatitis B, C, and so on. All right, so it could be any of these hepatitis that is responsible for elevated levels of ALT. Number 2, AST. AST stands for aspartate transaminase and is predominantly found in the liver cells, in the muscle cells, and in the heart cells. Now, I want you to take note of this before we leave this ALT and AST. When you find an equivalent rise, that's elevated level of both of them together, that ALT and AST together, both elevated, it should be suggesting to you that this can be a liver pathology. But if it is just AST alone that is elevated, then it should suggest to you that it could be a muscle injury or a heart injury, that's a cardiac pathology. See, in the lab, you will have to compare the level of ALB versus the level of GGT or ALT versus AST and all that before you can deduce that this person is suffering from the disease also. But with your NLS device, you will have the platform for investigating pathologies directly. And you also have the platform for this comparison of this enzymatic, hormonal, or vitamin or mineral level, biochemical parameters, where you can compare all this to deduce or suspect that this person has this problem or the other. So you can say the NLS device is an amazing device. You can carry out so much investigation with it, so much research with it. So by the time you check pathologies, you check biochemical parameters, you check different platforms for investigation, you become so certain what is going on in the body, and it gives you confidence to know the right approach when it comes to treatment. So what are you waiting for? I'm saying all this to encourage you to go and subscribe for my online masterclass in NLS device and METAHUNTER, my online masterclass in the BIOPHILIA tracker device. And if you want to order for genuine versions of this device, I'm the right plug to contact, and you'll not regret it.